Did I freeze? Yeah. Hint.
Okay. Hint.
This
I
is
got it.
strawberry lemon, but they have raspberry, watermelon, I don't pineapple. But you can get better flavors if you order it from them directly.
Okay. We get from Costco. We get this stuff called Vita Rain.
Oh yeah, I think well, I don't know if they have hint at Costco. I know they have it at Sam's, but
Yeah.
but I only went to Sam's one time because I was with a friend that has a membership there.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right, I think I got everything.
All right. Well,
I saw BGO is playing third base tonight.
for who?
The Dodgers. I sent you the.
I know, but I didn't know if that was real or not.
I know. I
I
thought
didn't
at first
follow
I
it
was
up.
like, "What?" And then I did. I did follow it up, and it's true. Which
That's all
I
together.
don't
That's
understand
not
it.
the one that.
Yeah, I don't get it. I think. I mean, I guess we can talk about it because I do have it in there. But
Okay.
I'll just tell you what I think when we get there.
All right.
All right. I am ready.
Sibling Rivalry Baseball Podcast is in your ears and happy to be there, nesting in there, making little weird noises like we're crumpling things up so it sounds static in your ears, like in the middle of the night. Um, anyway, we're happy to be here with you. Lots to talk about today. Something happened for the Angels that hadn't happened this season. I'm not even sure if it happened last season, really, but it hasn't happened this season. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about a huge series between the Dodgers and the Yankees. Also, this particular line is now connected somehow to baseball. Any ideas? We'll tell you coming up in Around Baseball. And we'll talk College World Series because the road to Omaha, those who are going to be able to go to Omaha to play have been selected. They have found their way into the College World Series. So we'll do all of that. But first, let's head to Anaheim. Before we get started about the Angels this week, there was something I forgot last week, and I kind of want to talk about that and and go from there. And also, we just got news that they've had another meeting. Are they like Amway?
Maybe. And apparently it was an emotional meeting. Last week we talked about motivational meetings, right? That motivating people to do better. This week, emotional.
It just seems like
Off
that.
the rails.
Yeah, there's too many. I don't know. Maybe they do need this mini meetings.
Could it be done through email?
Could it have been that? Who knows? Could you just have gone out and yelled at each other in the field while you were working on something? I don't know. But we'll see if this emotional meeting does anything. The Angels took on the Padres and Houston last week. Overall, the week was actually pretty decent when you look at the pieces. And but before we get into that, I want to talk about something I missed last week. Joe Adell, we talked about how he hit a grand slam and everybody's like, maybe he's on his way back. Everything's good. He had been in such a slump that he was only batting like 84, through the month of May. And everybody got excited about that grand slam. Look at him, the way he hit. And I wanted to bring this up last week, and we kind of got sidetracked and went a different direction. Joe Adell, in that at bat, swung at two pitches that were, he's a right-handed batter. They were in the left-handed batter's box. The opposite batter's box, he swung at both of those. On the third pitch, the catcher set up in the same position, but the pitcher threw a pitch that then kind of curved in a little bit. Adell was swinging at it anyway. Even though it should have been in the other box, he got lucky. The pitcher made a mistake, and he just happened to be there. I don't think that he actually saw it there. It just happened. Because when you look at the rest of his at-bats and you look at going forward, he's still not batting well. I think rushing to judgment that he's all of a sudden cured is a bad thing. And I'm not sure what to do with him. I've seen him make a couple of decent defensive plays, which he always had a problem with before as well. So he's at a point where maybe this is just what he is.
Yeah, I think we're seeing that. I mean, there's always been, I guess, flashes of like, oh, this is what he could do, but then he always goes back to same old Joe Adell.
Same old.
Same old.
Same old.
Yeah, and it was fun. I mean, the comments like that, like, oh, he's out of it. But he wasn't, just because you hit a grand slam or you hit a home run, whatever, you hit one out of the park. That doesn't cure you. You're not cured. So.
No, especially when you look at how that at bat went. Had
right.
that pitch not grooved in instead of staying to the outside, he strikes out and nobody's talking about. And that's another loss. Actually, he lost that game anyway. He did tie it up. So it's not like he didn't do something good. And I'm not to say, so what? That's cool that happened.
Sure.
But you can't, all of a sudden throw your hands up in the air, yell hallelujah, the resurrection of Joe Adell is upon us. You can't do that. And obviously that didn't work. So another thing I've heard recently, that Perry Manassian's not talking to the press and that he's being kind of surly with the press. And what I think happened is we've noticed that Rendon's been a little easier going with the press. Manassian's taken over for him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that explains a lot.
Or he's gone to the Anthony Rendon School of Media Relations.
Maybe he was a top graduate.
He's on top of it because apparently he's having issues with all of that.
Right.
All right. So let's take a look at the two series that they had. Number one was versus San Diego. And this is where we go to something that hadn't happened this season. They swept the Padres.
Yeah, that's exciting for the Angels and exciting for me because it's the Padres. And anytime the Padres get swept, it's great.
And remember when we talked back that it doesn't really matter if they beat the Dodgers or not because they're losing everybody else, so there won't be any issue with them.
That's right.
Down the road.
Yes.
This again proves it.
Yeah.
The Angels don't have the worst record in baseball. They may not be the worst team in baseball, but some nights they look like it. I mean, there's got to be something going on there. And what we saw the pitching and the hitting come together all at the same time. With the exception of Manny Machado, who had a great series, pretty much pitching was right on top of it, and they scored enough runs to win. They didn't score a lot of runs, but they were able to hold the Dregs to less.
Yeah, all of the pitchers in this series, Tyler Anderson, Patrick Sandoval, and Soriano, they all went 6 innings or a little more than 6 innings. So I think that's a big deal going forward for the Angels.
They got out hit every single game. The Padres had more hits than the Angels did, but that didn't matter because they were more productive in their hitting. They were better with their situational hitting, and they were able, like I said, to score more runs. Now, it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't much. 2-1, 4-2, and 3-2.
Yeah, but that's all you need, right?
You only need to win by one.
And it's interesting you say Manny Machado had one of the best series. He had a good series because he hasn't been that great this season.
Right. So overall, when we go through, we look at it, Machado stands out for them. Rengifo, Pilar, both had that. The bullpen looked good too. We had been talking about what happened to Matt Moore. He had a couple of good outings here. Ben Joyce had one where he only gave up a hit, and it was the kids who came through quite a bit with Zetto, Shanuel, Ohapi, and then Rengifo, all had decent games. Carlos Estevez got two saves in the series. And like I said, they got their first sweep. And part of it, too, I wonder, is they didn't have to face two great pitchers. Even though they beat all their pitchers, they did have to face Dylan Cease. And they were able to get what they needed, 3 runs off of him. In order to win there. And then they welcomed in Tiny and the Asterisks. And a pitcher that I've always talked about that seems to have their number. Last year they did better about him, but this year, first time out against Framber Valdez. Framber strikes out 8, gives up 1 run, which was a home run to Kevin Pillar, but goes complete game. And gets 7 runs in support from his guys. Griffin Canning pitched in that game. He gave up 3 runs over 6 1/3. Not a bad outing overall. It was Hunter Strickland that gave up the other 3, and then Contreras with just 1 run given up on his side. It was mostly Yanier Diaz and Jose Abreu who did most of the damage in that one. Tyler Anderson pitching in game 2. They got beat again 6-1. So they stopped them from 1 run. He too, 6 innings, 7 hits and 4 runs. If they could have got some offense, maybe they could win something in here. But his wasn't so bad. Ben Joyce had a tough time in just the 3rd inning. He gave up 2 runs on 4 hits, and he let the inherited runner score.
And Yordan Alvarez had a home run. I think he had 2 doubles in this game. So that when you've got Alvarez, who is hot at the plate, that can be tough to beat.
Yeah, he was, like you said, 3 for 4. It's, and actually the whole lineup had hits except for Jose Abreu. He was the only one that went hitless and all that. Game 3, Verlander, Justin on the mound. And this was probably the best game of the 3, as far as that there was a lot of action. It went back and forth between the Asterisks and the Angels. The final ends up being 9-7. But if you look at the box score, you'll see like the Angels scored 1 early in the 2nd. The Asterisks come back in the 3rd and score 3. Then they score another 4 for their 7. The Angels took it, tied it up in the 8th, and then were able to grab 2 more on a walk-off from Logan Ohapi that honestly, for a second, I wasn't sure if it really was going to be. And then I wondered if they would call it that way. Reason being is, did you see the home run?
Yeah, and it looked like Trey Cabbage, who had been an
Former
Angel,
Angel
yeah,
last
now an
season.
Astro. It looked like maybe he had made the catch.
Well, he did, but
Yes.
so there's times where, like in a double play, the second baseman or the shortstop will get to the bag, they'll get the out, and as they're going to transfer the ball, they'll lose the ball. The
Yes.
runner's still out. They go, no, he was transferring it. He had it solid when he was out. That's not how it plays in the outfield. Trey goes up, comes down, and hits his arm on the wall. They got a low wall there, right between the bullpen and the stand, and where the stands are, right until you get over there. That whole area down the line is a low wall. He hit the wall, and when he came back up, he looked in his glove, and the ball was gone. Seconds later, a kid throws his arm up in the air, and I was like, wait, did somebody pull the ball out of his glove? Would there be some sort of a deal with that?
Oh,
Or
like interference. Yeah.
he had it, and then when he came down, it came out. Maybe that's they could prove that he had it, and when he hit it, it was like, no, he already had it. But that's not how it works.
No.
He hit his arm on that, lost the ball. Logan O'Hoppe 2-run walk-off home run. And a couple of cool things out of that. Number one, they end up not getting swept after sweeping. So they do pick up one run. And then
Yes.
that means that they ended up having a 4-2 week. They had a winning week. They haven't
Yeah.
had any of those. And Chick-fil-A, if the Angels score more than 7 runs at home, and you remember to open your app before midnight on the day that they won, you get a free chicken sandwich.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
So
But
they
you
don't
have to
give a lot of
remember,
those out.
right. Now, do you think they made that deal knowing that maybe they wouldn't have to give out a lot?
I think so. Because they have to score 7 runs. It's only at home, and
Right.
then you have to open the app. So like I think I've forgotten in the past, not that they've scored 7 runs many times, but I was sitting there thinking, oh, they just scored 9 runs. That's Sunday. I was like, ooh. So I opened it up. I'm like, I can't go today, but I opened it, and as soon as the app opened, it said, you have this sandwich reward. So
Yay. That's cool.
that's what I had for lunch today.
Very nice.
Anyway, so some things that we see there. Sandoval pitches again, not a great outing. 5 2/3, gave up 5 runs over 8 hits. Strickland once again, only a third of an inning, gives up 2 runs, not looking good. And he had been one of the more consistent closers. Not no mo. You had Rengifo and Pilar, once again, multi-hit games. Pilar scored 3 times on Zach Neto kids Jersey Day.
Oh,
All kids under 17, I guess, got a Zach Neto number 9 jersey.
nice.
He goes 1 for 3, 1 RBI. He had a couple other games where he actually stepped up. We talked about it a couple of games there in San Diego where he stepped up, and he did all right. And like I said, I've seen a lot of people posting greatest Angel ever, and then they
Yeah,
show Kevin Pillar.
I have seen that too.
So he has been and the sad part is even though we don't know what's going to happen, and really who would they trade and what would they get? They're going to trade. They need to sell to get pieces to bolster the minor league and to build up a team. They got a lot of young kids that unless they can get somebody to trade something big for Zeto or Shanuel or any of these younger guys that are showing up right now. I think your biggest options are Rengifo and Pilar right now. And that's going to be the sad part. Pilar's the greatest angel ever, apparently. He's not going to be one for long.
Yeah.
You got it. And, if you want to get younger players and start to build up so you can start rebuilding towards next year, then that's the way to do it. You're just going to have to make it happen. Looks like Rendon may be ahead of schedule. He is actually out doing baseball activities. He hasn't started like running in the outfield, but he's moving. He's doing like lateral movements and things like that. And he's talking to the press. He's not like, I'm on the dead list, so can't talk
Leave
to
me alone. Yeah.
He's not he doesn't have that same attitude. So maybe Bo Porter did get to him and say, cut it out.
Yeah.
Maybe Ron Washington did. Who knows? He's been a little more open with that. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a setback or all of a sudden, like we said, my hamstring issue, and now I'm having eye surgery.
Yeah, well, that's
which has
happened
been
before.
The case.
Yes.
I think that as long as nothing like that happens, I suspect he will continue on that route. Whether he's a good player again, we don't know.
Yeah, right. You won't know till he, is he gonna? Because he wasn't bad when he came back and was playing. He was getting, some hits and making some contribution. So will he be able to do that?
Well, had been doing pretty well overall once he was in there and getting more time.
Yeah. Mike Trout, I think we had mentioned last week, was, I think, maybe going to be able to use the treadmill
He has been.
Right. But to what extent?
But no baseball activities, not even like Rendon's at light baseball activities. He's not even there. He's still on this, what do they call Alt G, which I'm not sure exactly what that is.
Yeah.
Treadmill. I'll have to look that up, but he's doing that, but I think he's just walking.
Right.
On it, and maybe.
Well, I saw him walking. He went to one of the children's hospitals there in the area, so he can walk. So that's a good sign,
can
right?
He run?
Right. He can't do that.
Yeah.
But he can walk. That's a step forward.
So hopefully he can get there, be back maybe by end of July, early August. We don't know. And then Rendon, hopefully, will come back earlier than that and feel good. He seems like he's positive about what's going on, so we'll see. All right, Angels hit the road, and we'll be today finishing up a 3-game series with Arizona before heading up to San Francisco for the weekend. San Francisco's a nice place to go for a weekend.
Yeah.
Or at least it used to be. Now that they've cleaned everything up and, not all the, I guess, I don't know if they did or not. I've been to San Francisco for a weekend. It's nice. It can be really, really fun.
Enjoyable.
Yes, indeed. Player of the week, you got one?
I just went with, this is probably one of those picks. Not too bad. He did have one game where he was 0 for 3. But I went with Logan O'Hoppe.
O'Hoppe Day.
Because, he's, like I said, except for the one game where he had like an 0 for 3 game, he had that big home run, had the 2 RBIs, but he was 1 for 3, 2 for 3, 4 for 5 in the one game, and then 1 for 3. So, I just went with O'Hoppe.
I as well went with Logan. It was nice to see somebody else stepping up, a 471 batting average over those two. Like you just mentioned, all the hits that he had, and that walk-off home run that, when you're in a losing streak, which they weren't really, it was 2 games. They've had longer.
Yeah.
It still is nice. You almost wish, because they had Monday off, that they could have taken that right into Monday and maybe done something else. Instead, apparently it's a long trip from Anaheim to Phoenix. Hour and a half flight.
Yeah, that's super long. Yeah. We mentioned the meetings at the beginning, and I said they had a motivational meeting. It was an accountability meeting that they had before, but we also have just heard that they had another team meeting, and Ron Washington said they to go over things they've been seeing recently, which is exactly what they did last week, and to bring some accountability. Uh, So he said 4 players spoke, and he also gave a brief speech. So Ron Washington, if you could, the Angels will be the most accountable team in MLB once Washington's done with them.
Taking accountability may not be the problem. Winning seems to be the issue.
Yeah. I don't know, another writer said that it was, emotional. I don't know about that, but I guess, we'll find out some more.
When you're being held accountable,
it can be emotional.
You could be emotional. Yeah. I mean,
not always, maybe not. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Last week we were talking about how the Dodgers had like a weird schedule. They were on the East Coast, and then flew or Cincinnati, New York, and then fly back, play the Rockies, and then fly back, so that they can play Pittsburgh and then the Yankees. So it's almost the same. They went Cincinnati, New York, and then Pittsburgh, New York. That's almost, they're pretty close. I mean, Pittsburgh's north, kind of northeast a little bit, but still.
But in the general area. Yeah, the Dodgers fly to Pittsburgh, to the beautiful PNC Park, definitely on our list of places to go. Dodgers lose this series. They were flat. They looked flat in the first 2 games. The last game they did win, but in the first game, 1-0, Pirates win. The rookie pitcher, Jared Jones, had 6 shutout innings in this game. And then it was Captain Jack Sawinski who hit a home run. And that was it. That's it. The Dodgers had 5 hits in this loss. They were 0 for 12 with runners in scoring position. And once again, no run support for Tyler Glasnow, who went 6 innings, had 9 strikeouts, and only 3 hits. So, yeah, pretty.
Yeah, and unfortunately, one of those hits was a home run, and he got no offensive support. So,
and that was it.
Well, Freddie tried. Freddie had 2 hits in the game, but beyond that, there was only a total of maybe 4 or 5 hits.
Yeah, it was 5 hits. That's it. They had 5 hits. Ohtani had a hit. Freeman, like you said, had 2. Smith had 1. So that's 4. And somebody else had another hit.
You don't want to say. I know. No, say it now. So if somebody's listening, going, "Oh, he is hitting," maybe they'll trade for him.
Chris Taylor. No,
Gavin Lux.
I know.
Gavin Lux.
I knew it was Gavin Lux.
I know you did.
I don't.
If it had been Chris Taylor, we would have been having a big celebration. Look, Chris finally got a hit.
He got a hit. Yeah, no, it was Gavin Lux. In the second game, a better game, Dodgers do lose the game 10-6, but who is on the mound? Paul Skeens.
Yeah, and honestly, it was kind of funny in the first 2 innings. That was the best part of the game, was the first 2 innings. Paul Skeens versus Shohei.
Well, and this is Paul Skeens had said he saw Ohtani's debut in Anaheim, and he really wanted to be a two-way player. He thought, I can do this. So, which a lot of people are like, how old? Ohtani is not that old. So how old is Paul Skeens? But I mean, especially when you're like, when they say I grew up watching him.
Well, think about it. He just left college last year.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm assuming he was a senior.
Yeah.
So if that's 4 years of college, and then 4 years of high school before that's 8. So he could have seen him like when he was in high school, because
Yeah.
Shohei's been around what, since 2018.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's when he saw him. I think he said he was like 15 or 16, but it just sounds funny. I grew up watching Shohei. Like,
Right.
Shohei's not that old, but it was really cool. And Shohei struck out the first time, but the second time he had his number.
Three straight pitches on the first one.
Yes.
So Paul Scanes looks like he's got control.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second inning,
Shohei has control and hits it over the wall for a home run. And I think there's a baseball card now with
I did see
Ohtani and Scanes, and he's on the mound, and he just has a big smile on his face.
Yeah, they were like, this is a new term. Remember last week we had ride or die. I had never really, I'd heard it, but I wasn't really familiar with it.
Yeah.
I've heard this like 10 times in the past week, the term fanboy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
No?
And that's what they kept saying. Oh, he's a fanboy. And then I heard
he turned around and admired the home run.
And he had a smile on his face, like, well, I mean, what are you going to do at that point?
Well,
I just got taken deep by arguably the best player in baseball right now, if not ever.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's the situation. And also, he felt his connection of watching Ohtani in his debut. So, so I think that game, the Dodgers end up losing 10-6. I mean, James Paxton started this game. He has been pretty consistent, but this was terrible. I mean, he only went 1 2/3 innings, gave up 6 hits, 7 runs in that 1 2/3 innings.
Well, it was the second inning. He made it through the first, but the second inning, they dropped 7 on him.
But he has been consistent. He's been able to go 6 innings lately in his last few starts.
Since you complained about him only going 5,
that's right. He went 6 and then he went a 1 1/3. So Ohtani, like I said, had that 2-run home run. So he was 2 for 5. Freeman was 1 for 5. Smith was 2 for 5. But not a lot to talk about in this game other than, like you said, the first 2 innings. And then the third game, Dodgers end on a high note, win this game 11-7. Everybody seems to be hitting in this game. You had Betts, Freeman, and Hernandez, Teoscar, all had home runs. Walker Buehler was on the mound. Not so great outing. He only goes 3 innings, gives up the 7 hits and 4 runs. And it wasn't until you had Michael Grove, Daniel Hudson, and Blake Trinan who kept them scoreless and, no runs. And then Evan Phillips, of all people, was like, you know what? I'm going to shake things up.
This is my meltdown game.
Yeah. So, and he ends up giving up 4 hits and 3 runs, but it wasn't enough for the Pirates to come back and win. So they lose.
Now wait, Blake Trinan pitched?
He did. He did pitch, and I said last week that he was going to be on the IL because of his heart. And then I got duped because I was thinking, oh, maybe something really is. No, I had somebody just being dumb and, saying, oh, because of apparently Blake Trinan, I don't know. I've never heard him come out and say this, and I don't know that he would, but I guess he's a Trump fan. And that day that I had read that, they had the verdict in New York where Trump was found guilty. And because of that, they said, oh, he's on the IL because his heart. And it's like, oh, his heart was broken. And
so
then
he had an overreaction to the guilty verdicts.
Right. And then after I realized, I felt really dumb. Like I got duped. Well, and I told you that I would do better. And so there are certain things that I well, not certain things, all things I see, I have to make sure I have multiple sources. So anyway.
That's funny that you say that, because Anthony Rendon, when he got signed and they were talking to him about why Anaheim versus LA, one of the things he said is, I'm from Houston. My political alignments are, you can imagine. He wouldn't say it, but you understood what he was saying, that he is a supporter. At that point, he came in 2020. So, that was the end of Trump's first, or, nearly the end. And you had the 2020, and all that stuff. So he never said it outright, but he's also that. So maybe that's why he's been upset.
Maybe.
And having issues, because for, then, the election stuff and all that, he bought into all of that, and he's been upset. And now that there's a chance that he might be back, he's not as upset about things.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I would rather not know the players' political.
Yeah, I'm not interested.
I don't care. So I will do better on making sure that I make sure that those are correct. But let's get to the Yankee series, because.
Well, 1 second before you go there. I just want to mention one thing about Pittsburgh, and because we're talking, because everybody thinks they know that the Dodgers are not a World Series caliber team, which is wrong, because nobody knows what this team will look like in October. We can guarantee one thing. When the Dodgers hit poorly, if that's what they show up to play in October with, they will be eliminated immediately, because that's been the problem. But people are like, oh, trade for this person or trade for that person. And we know, and we'll talk about some trade rumors and things that have been going around. And everybody knows that Andrew Friedman's going to do something come the trade deadline. And I told you what I thought, and I still think this, because I was watching highlights, and I watched on like MLB Network, the Pirates playing. And I told you I felt like we should go after O'Neal Cruz.
Yes, you did.
The Pittsburgh. And I still think that. He hit a home run in the last game of that series. So I'm hit a home run in the next series that he played against. I don't remember who they were playing. I think that he's a shortstop. He's one of those tall, lanky shortstops. He reminds me, as far as his structure, of Ellie De La Cruz.
Yes.
Not as gregarious, not as demonstrative as Ellie. And obviously we'd like Ellie, more if we could get him. And he owns LA. We want him to come home.
That's right. He does. We want him come home. Let's start that.
But I think that we need to remember the pitching staff's going to look different, because by the end of August, unless there's issues, we'll have Kirsch back. Who knows what else we'll have and how things work around. There's going to be a lot of questions, can we do an 8-man rotation? I saw somebody write, because so many people are doing good. That Yamamoto and Glass now are going to be there.
Yes.
I would say Gavin Stone.
Yeah.
And then you're going to give Kershaw a good shot at being there and see if he can continue going, or if you need to use him as a piece to spot start or whatever. We don't know what's going to happen with Walker Buehler, if he's going to have, and he may have more ups and downs, and hopefully next time it's up, and mostly it stays up, but it may get to a point that he just still needs more work and will be fully ready next season. We don't know.
Right. You don't know. That is true.
So lots to go with that. And it's just like this. We'll talk about, and the reason I brought it up before we talk about the Yankees is that we ride this Dodger roller coaster, and we talk about it. The sky's falling. Oh no, wait, it's not. The Dodgers they beat Cincinnati at home, but have a hard time with them in Cincinnati. They have a couple of good series. They come back and they beat, the Mets. They come home, they beat the Rockies. But the first game out, they lost, and people were worried about it.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Because it's the Rockies.
Exactly. And then, like we talked about against Pittsburgh, they go there, they lose the series. So why is that an indicator that they're the worst team ever now? No. It's one series.
It's one series. And I think as we segue into the Yankees series, this is how the Dodgers need to approach every single series as if they're playing the Yankees. Because I said last week I was nervous about this series just based on, coming out of Pittsburgh, how they were in, those games where they've been inconsistent. We've seen the inconsistency, but this was a really good series. And
once again, though, I know this is like potentially a World Series matchup based on where both teams are. And when you think about it, the Dodgers are playing in one of the worst divisions this year because they had a 500, road trip or 500 series, or over, 3 or 4 series, they went 500 and they still gained games over San Diego and the rest of the NL West.
Right.
So the other thing is this is 3 games. They're not going to play the Yankees again this season. Their next chance to play the Yankees is the World Series.
I think it's the atmosphere in the Bronx lends itself obviously to the series. 2 iconic teams. Obviously, there were a lot of people in the stands still sporting, Brooklyn Dodgers hats, gear, all of it. You had Pantone 294, which is a big Dodger group. They do travel. I guess they're like travel packages. They had a police escort on Saturday into the stadium because they were all walking into the stadium. And there were times, in fact, that you were like, is this in the Bronx? Is this in Yankee Stadium? But a really good series. I think the first game really did show that. You had Yamamoto on the mound, and it was scoreless into the 11th. So, some people might have been like, this is never going to end. But if you're a baseball fan, that is a good game.
And it's exactly what you would expect of 2 teams like this that have, honestly, the Yankees pretty much threw a bullpen game.
Yeah, they did.
But Cody Poteet.
Mm-hmm.
Who? That was all I could think was who? What? He only went 4 2/3, and then they pieced it together the rest of the way. And they had to face a couple former Dodgers in this.
Well, there was Victor Gonzalez, and then Caleb Ferguson, and then Dennis Santana.
Right. So 3 relievers they had to, and then they had in Pittsburgh, they had a couple of relievers. Justin Bruhl was one they faced that were former Dodgers. So they've had a few former Dodgers they had to deal with.
Yeah. And like you said, this is exactly what you would expect. This is scoreless into the 11th. It was Teoscar Hernandez that broke the deadlock with a 2-run double. And that was it. It was all Teo in this game. The Yankees did try, they did come back, put 1 run on the board, but it was not enough. And the Dodgers win the first game. The second game, lopsided. I knew that the Yankees, I didn't feel like the Dodgers were going to sweep them, but I was expecting maybe something a little closer. And in the Friday game, Juan Soto didn't play in this series because of forearm or elbow issues, soreness. Apparently, I guess he's okay, but he was on the rail. He didn't have a uniform on. Sometimes he'd have a uniform on with the bat in his hand. So they were playing, like, oh, he's going to come up and bat. They were doing some decoys there. But in this game, 11-3, Teoscar Hernandez again. I mean, it's the Teo show in the Bronx. 2 for 4, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. And it was against a guy, Hill, that who had been great at home. And he wasn't so great against the Dodgers.
Yeah, they had another former Dodger, Tommy Conley, who didn't.
Oh,
really
you know
pitch.
what? I'm sorry. In this game, it was Nestor Cortez. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Nestor Cortez. So, but who had a good luck at home. So, anyway, Freeman was 2 for 5. Gavin Stone had never been to New York, had never pitched in, obviously, so had never pitched in Yankee Stadium. A guy from a little town, Lake City, Arkansas, 2,000 people. And he did a good job. I mean, he gave up 8 hits, but only 2 runs. And 6 strikeouts, did give up a home run. But I think for Gavin Stone,
he gave up a home run to right now the best home run hitter in baseball.
Yeah, so not a big deal.
It's like that's like him giving up a home run to Barry Bonds back in his heyday. Aaron Judge, minus the roids, is, he's on fire right now.
Yeah. So no shame, I guess, in that. So, and these games, like Friday's game was on Apple TV, Saturday's game was on Fox, was, one of the national games on Fox, and then Sunday Night Baseball for the last game of the series. This is the one where Hill pitched, and I think he has been like pretty much lights out at home, but he only goes 5 2/3 innings. The Dodgers get 3 runs off of him, but it wasn't enough because you had a guy who I think is overlooked. He's always has bugged me, and I don't know if it's just because he was on the Padres and there's something about the Padres players. They have
he had attitude issues.
Yeah,
in San
and you
Diego
don't
for
see
a while.
that, right? And I didn't see that as a Yankee, but that would be Trent Grisham. And I seriously think that when they were chanting, "We want Soto," he was up at bat, and he was like, "Oh, really? You want Soto? Let me show you." And he hits a 3-run home run, and that pretty much, ended it.
He's got that chip on his shoulder about it. He comes over as like an extra piece in the trade.
Exactly.
But he's gotten his chance to play. He is a good defender.
He is a good defender. Yes.
Tyler Glasnow, I remember the first time that he faced him, he walked him.
Yes.
And you could see the look on Tyler's face was like, oh, like, this guy's batting under 100.
Yeah.
His batting average was 82.
Right.
And then later, not only does he hit a home run, another light hitting player in Oswaldo Cabrera just turned on it. I mean, that was like he was on it.
Yeah.
It was just one of those pitches. There was just nothing that, Tyler could have done as far as that one goes. And Cabrera jacks that out of there.
Yeah. I mean, Tyler Glasnow did get some run support this time around, but they did end up losing the game. But he had 12 strikeouts in this game, pitched 6 innings. So, again, Teoscar Hernandez, a home run. And this is interesting. This goes back to Saturday's game, but Teoscar Hernandez and Kike Hernandez both hit home runs for the Dodgers. It's the first time 2 players named Hernandez have homered in the same game for the same team.
How about that?
Yeah. And also in that Saturday game, just to give you an idea about the, I guess, the excitement about this series, Saturday's Baseball Night in America, which is on Fox, was the most watched regular season MLB telecast on any network since 2022, with an average of 2.9 million viewers. It also ties as at MLB Fox's most watched regular season Saturday baseball telecast in 6 years.
Oh, and CT3 had a hit.
And yes, he did. He did.
Everybody had at least one hit that was in the lineup.
Game. Yeah. So I think the Dodgers didn't look great in those first 2 games against Pittsburgh. In that first game, especially where they lost 1-0, going 0 for 12 with runners in scoring position, that's a problem. There has to be consistency. And I think you saw that in the Yankees series. And that's why I think the Dodgers need to treat every team, doesn't matter who it is, treat it like they're playing the Yankees. Because obviously that helps. And go at every series with the same intensity, the same excitement, the same, everything, whatever it is that you want to be your best, do that.
Yeah, you're right about that. But there's something we've talked about with the Angels. They're having a meeting every day for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers are going through some slumps, and times you would think the Dodgers were a worse team than the Angels just because they just don't seem to be putting it together. But you don't see Dave Roberts having emergency meetings or accountability meetings. You see these players are holding themselves accountable and working hard. Mookie Betts has come out and said, I'm having to really fight to learn shortstop. And then they don't, I've got to fight to learn this. And it's been hard, but he's not giving up on it. And yeah, should he be playing second base and Rojas be playing shortstop? I think yes. But you see the drive that these guys have to try to get to that spot so that they can, they can win. They don't need Dave Roberts having 20 meetings.
Right.
To, to get on them about it and be accountable for those issues. And they have enough leaders on that team that I think you almost feel like you have to be accountable. One other thing to bring up, Teoscar Hernandez. He is going to be a free agent at the end of the season. He said, I want to stay here. I like it here. I don't want to bounce around.
And as a Dodger fan, I want him to stay there. Yeah, I want him in LA. He doesn't need to be anywhere else. He's been such a good fit, and he could have made more money somewhere else and signed for more, but he wanted to come to LA. So I think that is a lot. And yeah, I think hopefully Andrew Friedman, the front office, Brandon Gomes will make the right offer.
That happen.
Yeah, and we'll make it happen. Do you have some news about the Dodgers? The Dodgers did make a trade. I was confused about this trade because he had been DFA'd by the Blue Jays, and that is Cavan Biggio from the Toronto Blue Jays, as I just mentioned. He was traded for a minor league pitcher and who has split his time between AA Tulsa and AAA Oklahoma City. But Gavin is batting 200, has 2 home runs and 131 plate appearances. He spent most of his career at second base, but he can play first base, third base, and right field. Miguel Vargas, because they needed a spot on the roster, was optioned back to Oklahoma City. I don't know how long BGO is going to be a Dodger. I can see him being part of a trade.
But see, that's why they pick him up, is because he'd been DFA'd. You wouldn't have gone and given up anything big for BGO. He's fallen off the radar. We do know that there's been talk about Bo Bichette. That's what makes me bring up that Bo Bichette's fine. I think I'd rather have O'Neal Cruz.
Yeah.
If you could get him. You take what you can get, But that was a confusing one, but they did need somebody. Might as well, let him play for a while and see if you can package him up with something else.
Well, Max Muncy is still not progressing how he would like to progress with this oblique injury. I can see him, playing at third base, but he obviously is going to be platooning, and probably also depending on who's pitching, left or, is it a lefty or righty who's going to be there? Because, Kike Hernandez hasn't been, like spectacular, but he's had a home run here or there and isn't bad defensively. They still need to do something with Chris Taylor. Not sure what that will be, but I'm sure some of it has to do with the fact that they would owe him $20 million, but I think they could just let that go.
Yeah,
here you go.
And probably will. And you got to figure, if they're not willing to let Chris Taylor play third base, they're willing to go out and get BGO. That says a lot about what they feel about Chris Taylor.
Yeah.
All right. So before we finish up with the Dodgers, in around baseball, we have words about maybe the next Japanese sensation.
Ooh.
So we'll tell you about that coming up. Dodgers are at home, finishing up with Texas, and then the Royals come to town for a couple of interleague matchups. Player of the week. I kind of think this one's a gimme, but
whenever I do the player of the week, I go through the box score. I study the box score. And I look, I go back through, look at highlights, look at things like that. But this one, I couldn't go with anyone but Teoscar Hernandez.
Yeah, he had too good of a weekend in the Bronx for him not to be. And even in Pittsburgh, he played pretty well, and he's infectious. He gets on there. He's playing along. He's got a lot of energy, a lot of hype.
Yeah, and they asked him, I think it was in Sunday night's game where they mic up a player. Teoscar Hernandez was mic'd up. Ask him about the home run derby. And he said, yeah, I think I'd like to do it. I'm not sure. I'm still thinking about it, but that would be really cool. Because one thing, we're going to be there.
Right. That would be awesome. For sure. All right. So both of us picked, we were unanimous on both.
Yeah, look at that.
POWs this week. 4 home runs for him over the 2 series, 10 RBIs, 3 doubles, scored 6 runs, a 1389 OPS, 429 on base. So he was on base roughly 43% of the time. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
All right, time to hit the gas in the bullpen cart as we head for a look around baseball. Before we get started, let's knock this out because this needs to be the biggest thing. University of Oklahoma women's softball.
Yes, this is the first Division I softball team to win 4 straight Women's College World Series championships. They did that in 2 games over Texas. They were the number 2 seed. 4-peat for the Sooners.
Yep. 4 in a
And
row. Crazy.
2024 Women's College World Series averaged 2 million viewers per game. It was the most watched Women's College World Series on record. And they've got a great field there in Oklahoma City. It's nice. The Sooners kind of right there in their backyard. Norman is just south of Oklahoma City. So, yeah, Boomer Sooner. Like I said, that's all I got to say.
All right, let's take a look at the Players of the Week MLB style.
No surprise here. National League Player of the Week. We already gave his stats. Teoscar Hernandez is the NL Player of the Week. And I guess this is really not a surprise either. The American League Player of the Week, Aaron Judge, with a .500 batting average, 3 home runs, 12 RBIs, and a 1.830 OPS. And they had interviewed both Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani on ESPN, and they asked them about each other. And Shohei Ohtani just said, he's so big. And then Aaron Judge said, he's so fast. So
That's funny.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about the Yankees there real quick, big series of the week has been going on. 4-game series, Yankees versus Royals. Now, what's kind of interesting about this is I just realized today, had we not changed our plans, we would be in Kansas City right now.
That's right. That's right.
Watching the Yankees versus Royals. But the funny part is when we picked that, we didn't pick it. We thought, let's go see the Yankees play the Royals. Okay. We weren't expecting the Royals to be as good as they have been.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we would have seen a premium series had that been. We still want to go there, but we will be waiting until probably next season, maybe season after, because we want to go to Pittsburgh too, and Omaha, and
we have lots on our list. Yeah, we took a detour this time, this year, but
so that's pretty good. Let's real quick, Rentaro Sasaki. Now, the reason I'm bringing him up is that for 2 reasons. Number one, he, unlike a lot of players in Japan, you come out of high school, you can go into the draft for the Nippon Baseball League. And at that point, then you're connected with the team and all that. Rentaro did not go into the draft. He went to Stanford, where I got it once again that the guys at Stanford are all fanboys. This is a kid who hit 140 home runs in high school baseball.
Wow.
And he's hit his first one in the U.S. in the draft league. This was the other reason I brought it up. I didn't know there was a draft league.
I didn't either. Draft
Playing
league.
for a team that you've seen, the Trenton Thunder.
Oh, yeah.
In the draft league, he his second at bat, he got a hit. Now, the interesting thing about this is, since he was never drafted over there, did not do that, he's going to come out of college here. He could come right into the U.S. with no posting fees and play in MLB. Unlike other players that they played professionally there, then there's posting fees for them to come. He doesn't. That doesn't
apply.
Doesn't apply. He was playing. They were playing Frederick, the Keys, out of Maryland. Trenton was, in that draft league. And so, with 2 outs and a man on second base, he fouled him off, and then let another one go by for a strike. So with an 0-2 count, he got it. Boom, on a 90.7 mile per hour fastball, and took it out of The manager for the Thunder, Adonis Smith, said it was magical. He went 2 for 5. He's 19 years old, and who knows what the future holds for Mr. Sasaki.
Yeah, and at the Trenton Thunder, I'm sure they still play in the same stadium, a really nice stadium right there on the Delaware River. So I'm sure it was magical.
Magical.
Magic.
As Olivia Newton-John sang, you have to believe we are magic.
That's right.
So Rintaro Sasaki.
Okay.
Here, big Japanese prospect we got to watch from there. The Orioles, let's talk about this real quick. Orioles, first time ever 4-game sweep at Tropicana. They had never taken all 4 games versus the Rays or the Devil Rays. Adley Rutschman with a 6 RBI game that included a grand slam, one of his best outings, helped drive that. So even though they're second behind the Yankees right now, don't sleep on the Orioles this season either. They might very well make it farther in the playoffs than they did last year.
Yeah. London series, we brought it up last week. It ended up, it was 1-1. There is a Jeff McNeil fan club, and I think they were from Scotland or someplace like that. So that was kind of interesting. Had a whole flag and everything.
Wow.
First game, Phillies win game 7-2, and Bryce Harper showed off his new, I think one time only home run celebration where he slid on his knees to the dugout as if he was playing soccer.
Just scored a goal.
Exactly. And then the Sunday game, the Mets won that game 6-5. But the interesting thing about this is it ended on a double play. And this is the first game that ended on a 2-3. So catcher to first baseman, ground ball double play in recorded American League National League history.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it happened.
And it happened in London. And yeah, and I thought, I think all of the games were well attended. And there was one guy, a shirt that it said, was it like the Britain was
either Great Britain or England blue.
A 13 colony lead.
Right.
That's right.
It was a Phillies fan, I guess. And that was pretty funny.
And they did have a race, and it looked like they had Henry VIII, Freddie Mercury, one of the palace guards, and the Loch Ness Monster.
Oh, okay. I saw that, and I knew who was going to win when they showed it.
Yeah.
Because Freddie Mercury was goofing around and,
like
posing.
Kisses and
yeah. And then he took off late. You knew he was going to win. That was a setup.
Right. It was total, but something fun.
I was going for Nessie.
Old That's Nessie.
Yep. All right. So at the beginning of the show, we played this. And then we asked, how is that is that somehow tied to baseball? Why is it somehow tied to baseball? I think you have the answer to this question in Jana's Fashion Report.
I do. Minnesota Twins, the City Connects, or should we say State Connects, were released. Trivia here. The Twins were the first North American professional sports franchise to name themselves after their home state and not their home city. The colors are blue and yellow, and it's azure blue, has a hue head to toe. And the jersey is supposed to have like a ripple effect because Minnesota is the land of the 10,000 lakes. And the caps there's a yellow belt, and the brims of the cap is supposed to evoke these are the ones I can't help but laugh. It's supposed to evoke the sun shining on a lake. Anyway, the caps are pretty.
And it.
the, the ball caps aren't bad. They're dark blue. They have a yellow brim, like I said. They have a insignia in the shape of the state, which is outlined in yellow. The logo contains the North Star, and it's at the location of where the Twin Cities is located in Minnesota. And the Northern Lights is reflected in the water line of the lake. And on the bottom of the brim, the topographical depth map of Lake Minnetonka, which is also an ode to Prince.
Yep. You can, if you're not sure, if you've never heard that before, go watch Purple Rain.
Yes.
And that is where that falls.
The other difference with this is instead of having across the chest like Minnesota or the Twins, they just have a patch that says MN for Minnesota. And that's pretty much it. They're going to be wearing these their home games on Fridays.
It has the North Star between the M and the
N
that's right. On the top in yellow. But, I mean, as far as it goes, it's pretty basic. There's not a whole lot of hidden things other than the bottom of the cap.
Yes. There's nothing. I didn't see anything, like stitched in the neck of the jersey like we've seen on other teams. But yeah, if you look at the bill, you flip it over, there's the topographical map.
Isn't like didn't they say in the piping on the leg there's like some pinkish hue there because of the sunset?
Yes.
Across the lake, and on the side of the hat it says 10,000 lakes.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, if you're from Minnesota, I'm sure they are just grabbing these up, which you can go to our website and go to the Fanatics link.
Right. SiblingRivalryBB.com. We didn't give that at the beginning of the show, but don't worry, we'll give it to you at the end.
Yes.
But yeah, go there. You'll be able to get that. Any other City Connects that are currently out. And I think the thing that throws me off with some of these City Connects is when they're completely different. It's like the Boston City Connects are that lighter blue and yellow, which is more connected with the city colors.
Right, in the Boston Marathon.
Mm-hmm. The flag and all that. So
Philadelphia was the same.
Yes. Too. So when you see them with colors that don't seem to match, like theirs have been, dark blue, a darkest blue, more of a navy blue, red, white, over the years, it kind of throws you off. As far as they go, they're just whatever. They're not anything special.
No, not anything special. I did just see that it looks like that the Dodgers will be introducing their second City Connects next week. So
next week, all right.
Maybe I will have another fashion report.
And we'll see if they use anything that we can, find a drop for.
Yeah.
Like purifying yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka. Maybe that's what they need to do in the middle of the winter. They need to make Carlos Correa go out there as an act of attrition for past misdeeds.
That's right.
All right. Well, whatever it is that's going on, I know that we have, whether it be uniforms, whatever, I know we probably have a few more guys reporting for duty on the wheel of IL. I don't know where you're going first, but I know you're going to be stopping at the Tommy John wheel.
I will be. But first, we're going to talk about JT Realmuto. He will have knee surgery to remove cartilage in his right knee. He's been dealing with knee soreness all season long. They said he'll only miss a month. They said at least a month, but it could be more. I mean, who knows? Because it's to remove the cartilage. But as we have seen before with other players once they get in and to do the surgery. It, could be more. It could be exactly what they need to do, but it could be more. So we'll see. Catcher Max Stassi of the White Sox underwent season-ending left hip surfacing procedure last week, so he's out. Not that that's a big deal, but we know Max Stassi, so throw that one in there. And then these two are interesting. These are both Reds players, and the reason they're interesting is because of the way they're worded. So Reds starting pitcher Brandon Williamson, who's on the 60-day IL, he's thinking about it, undergo season-ending surgery to remove a lesion from his left shoulder. And then first baseman Christian Encarnacion Strand is on the 10-day IL, and he too is also considering season-ending surgery to repair a ligament damage in his right wrist. So it's not a for sure thing, but it seems like the probably will happen. Emilio Pagan is on the 15-day IL with a right lat strain. And then Tigers, do you remember this guy? Javi Baez?
Who? What?
Yeah.
Isn't he the guy who, playing, I think, Pittsburgh, stopped at first base and ran back towards home, and the Pittsburgh first baseman chased after him? And then the guy came from home. Isn't he that guy?
Yeah, pretty sure.
And then he made safe to first and actually made it all the way to second. That's one of the last good plays that he's made, it looks like.
That's it. And that was as a Cub. So, yeah.
Not even the right team anymore.
Not even the right team. He is on the 10-day IL with lumbar spine inflammation. Kyle Tucker has a shin contusion, and he's on the 10-day IL. Brewster Gratterall is still on the IL, but this is like a happy update for the Will. He will throw a bullpen session in Arizona. San Francisco's Lamont Wade Jr. is on the 10-day IL with a hamstring injury, but he wants to get back as soon as he can so he can play with the team when they play at Rickwood. Starting pitcher Brian Wu of Seattle is listed as day-to-day because the team is awaiting the results of an MRI on his right arm. And Randy Arozarena and Corey Seager, obviously two different teams, but both on the both day-to-day with a hamstring injury. And then bad news for Milwaukee. Rookie Robert Gasser, the starting pitcher, he is getting a third opinion on his elbow, but it's unlikely that he will pitch again this season and probably next season. So,
sounds like it.
Yeah. And that is the will of IL.
All right, so we'll check back in on that next week. Right now, it's time to take a look at what's going on in Omaha, or will be going on, starting up on Friday, so tomorrow. Bracket number 1 will fire up. We'll see North Carolina take on Virginia in an ACC matchup, and then Tennessee versus Florida State. So 3 ACC teams in that bracket, Tennessee being the lone SEC team to move on. The other SEC teams are in bracket number 2, which will fire things up on Saturday with Kentucky and NC State taking on each other, and then Texas A&M and Florida will take each other on. Do you notice anything unusual here about this, about these teams in these brackets?
This is the ACC versus the SEC College World Series. And there is one team who will make their first appearance on Omaha. And I think that's who I'm going to be rooting for. And that would be your favorite basketball team, college basketball team, the Kentucky Wildcats.
Absolutely. I will be rooting them on as well. They are my first pick. I'll have to figure out what to do otherwise.
And 7 of the 8 teams were among the top 16 national seeds. You had number 1 Tennessee, Florida State at number 8, North Carolina number 4, and Virginia number 12, and they're all in bracket 1. And then in bracket 2, Kentucky number 2, NC State number 10, and Texas A&M number 3, and then Florida was not seeded. So it'll be interesting. And this is a double elimination. So they will play, and then, whoever wins plays, it's like winner 1 plays winner 2, loser 1 plays loser 2. It's that way. So even if a team loses, and they still have a chance to make it.
Yeah, when you look at the brackets that's set up with the first 2 games, and then there's a bottom one that's considered a first round, which would be a loser bracket game that would move people over, and it'll go from there. The loser out of the second game will play the winner of the first loser game and all that. And like you said, double elimination. All of the games are going to be available on one of the ESPN products, whether it be, ESPN2, ESPNU, probably ESPN Plus will have all the games in some form for streaming. So you got that, and the championship game will depend on, it's the best 2 of 3. So whoever wins the first 2, the title game is going to be on ABC. If game 2 is the title game of that championship game, it'll be ESPN, ABC. We'll have that, and if somebody walks away with 2, then it'll be ABC. If there's a third game in that series, it'll be on ESPN. All between the 22nd and the 24th to wrap things up. Great baseball. During the playoff section, these teams all played really well to get here and had some excitement at different times. Be interesting to see if the number 1 seed in Tennessee will be able to make it all the way through, or will it be like last year when they were the number 1 seed and they got eliminated pretty early?
Yeah, they did. And they had a rough game. I think it was against Stanford, where it ended. It was sad how it ended.
It really was.
Yeah. Florida, which finished the season only 1 game above 500. They are in Omaha, and they were the national runners-up last season. They lost to LSU. So will they be able to put some magic in there? Right now, the top teams, and obviously this is based on the rankings, is Tennessee, Texas A&M, and Kentucky. But will it be magical?
It'll be interesting to see if at the end we have one of each standing there, or if it's 2 of one conference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and this is really interesting. ACC versus the SEC, and we don't have any of those teams. And in fact, I think once, was it Oregon that lost? Was that the last game, Oregon? And that was the end of the Pac-12. That's it.
Yeah. Pac-12 is now
It's
the Pac-2, I guess. I don't know
what's
because
going to
there's still
happen
2
there.
teams hanging around, but we don't know what's going to go on because next season, many of the teams from the Pac-12 are going to be in the Big Ten.
Oh, right. Yeah. So it'll be different. It'll be interesting to see. SEC teams have been dominant. So this is the ACC versus the SEC in Omaha. Check it out.
All right, let's put the bullpen card back in the shed so we can be ready for next week, get it all charged up or gassed up, or did we ever decide it's a hybrid of some sort, I guess?
Yes. So I think we plug it in, but if need be, we also put gas in it. I don't know how that works.
Either that or we get some people to push us.
Yes. There's battery. Yeah. It's runs on AA batteries, or no, it'd have to be it'd have to be more than that.
A lot of AA batteries.
Yes.
Like 12, 16. I don't know. Anyway, whatever it runs on, it'll be running next week. Remember, you can find us on social media, on Twitter at Sibling Rivalry BB without the A.
And on Facebook and Instagram at Sibling Rivalry BB with the A.
And as we mentioned before, hit the website, siblingrivalrybb.com. You can go to the Fanatics links, buy some of this new gear that's out there, the City Connects. You can buy anything from your favorite team. You can buy stuff from non-baseball team.
Yeah,
any of the college teams.
Right, and the Father's Day is this Sunday, so they've got the Father's Day caps and jerseys there too.
So get some expedited shipping or whatever. But yeah, go there through our link, siblingrivalrybb.com. You can also contribute to the show by going to the Ko-fi link and just contributing whatever you want. That will help support our trip to Arlington. We have committed to go. So we'd be more than happy with your support. If not, we get it. We're still going. But we'd love to do that, and we'll be posting on our social media different things while we're there, and hopefully we get to a spot where maybe we can get close to some players or some high up somewhere, and talk to them about the game and get some drops for one of the other episodes. So we'll tell you what's going to happen as far as the episodes in that time frame when they'll be out and everything. Until then, go see some live baseball this weekend. Watch college World Series baseball.
Do yourself a favor.
That's right. You're gonna be happy that you took our advice and did that. Go see a Little League game, if nothing else. All right. But College World Series, you don't even have to leave home. So anyway. We'll see you next week. We'll talk more Dodgers, more Angels, and don't forget to swing away.
Mm-mm.